Good morning. I'm Emily. Welcome to Fibretown. This is Alice, my darling, and welcome to episode 11. It is the 3rd of April, 2013. Miss Alice is really focusing on a cookie. I know, a cookie I have right in front of us that she's not allowed to have yet. You sure do like cookies, don't you? Can we give a kiss? Can I have a kiss? Alice, my kisses. All right, so, Alice. There's your cookie. Can you shake? Yes, I know. Okay, good girl. All right. Sissy, y'all later. I'm going to go eat this. All righty. Hello, everybody. Hi. So, as I said, I'm Emily, Chain of Fools on Ravelry, and now on Instagram. Come find me there. And on my Fitness Pal as well. Gonna count the calories and stuff. So, yeah, they say it's more fun with friends, so come on and join me. I'm Chain of Fools there as well. And as always, I'm on YouTube and on at fibretown.blogspot.com. And I'm a few other places now. I am on iTunes. And Hipcast, that is the podcast hosting site I went with. I tried to do this whole let's do this podcasting thing for free. It's not working out. So I'm on Hipcast, and that's the good news. And the bad news is that I have to compress my videos to get them up there. And the quality stinks. So I am playing around with different compression rates and different ways to record. So I apologize for that quality. Right now it's terrible. But I am still working on it. It seems like a never-ending technological battle here. But the iTunes thing happened finally, so the rest will happen eventually. Yay! Two introductions. Two people introduced themselves this week. First we have Barbie from Central PA. Hi, Barbie. And she's fairly new to knitting. Alice is back. She finished her cookie. She's fairly new to knitting, and she likes to watch her podcast on Apple TV, which really scares me to think that I am on a giant TV somewhere, and the quality is probably terrible. But Barbie, it should improve someday. And the second person is Zena, Knitty Natter Zena from the Midlands in the UK, and she has a podcast that it's one that I never ever miss, and yeah, the Knitty Natter podcast, and she is awesome sauce. So yay! You guys want to see who won the March FO drawing? Let's find out. All right, so I love doing drawings. I put in the numbers on the random. They are number 2 to 76. Let's find out who the lucky winner is. 37. Let's see. Danger Mouse, I sent out your yarn today, so you should be getting it soon. Well, 6 to 10 business days. Okay, March FOs. We have number 37. I believe that's on page 2. Drum roll, please. It is Stitch and Smile! It's Leah! Leah in Minnesota, and she used to be part of my knit night until she moved. Leah, I'm going to gift you a pattern up to the value of $7. Yay! So, tell me what you want. PM me. All that good stuff. So yay. All right, let's get into the meat of the show. I do have a show and tell this week, and it's something that I hadn't even started last week. I think it's very rare for me to knit the same pattern twice, but I'm getting my money's worth out of this Zuzu's Petals by Karina Spencer. I knit another one out of this. There it is. It's still a bit damp. See this? How classy is that? I've got this is like toddler paint from helping out at a school project. Okay, so this is Zuzu's Petals by Karina Spencer. I used, I believe, a size 8 needle for this one. This is out of hand-spun, hand-dyed yarn. I used, it's just merino, and I dyed the roving. No, it was top. I dyed the combed top, and I hand painted it actually, and spun it into a color, not really a gradient, but a color changing. and Navajo plied it, and I used Wilton cake dyes, and I was going for a sunflower look. Say brown, yellow, green. But it dawned on me that it would be perfect for Joanna Spring's Dandelion knit-along. So I love knit-alongs because they inspire me to use yarns that, you know, I don't know when I would ever have knit this skein of hand spun. It was just in my basket, but I think these are not my colors at all. I probably won't wear this. I might gift it. I'll just keep it in the gift basket until the perfect recipient comes along. But yeah, knit-alongs get me out of my comfort zone and knitting things that I wouldn't normally. So dandelion appreciation, everybody. Dandelion colors. That is my only show and tell this week. You'd think having a broken foot would mean I would have finished my other sweater. No, not at all. That Zuzu's Petals, once I get going on that, I want to knit on it. I can see myself making a lot more, and it's great for hand spun. I've already sort of got the next few of them in the back of my head. So, works in progress. What shall I show you first? Okay, I did a little bit on my whippoorwill, well, my pseudo whippoorwill. This has been modified beyond all whippoorwillness. I'm still on the yellow, but I'm getting closer to the end. Such a slog. This is out of my hand spun loop bump. Sorry Charlie was the colorway. And I decided to start some eyelets, just a little bit like what the whippoorwill pattern has. But I just need for this to move faster. You've seen I've switched to garter, and now I'm just doing garter with eyelets. Over 500 stitches of lace weight, so yeah. There it is, and someday soon I hope to be finished with the gold. Then we move into the into the barber pole with gold and blue, and then the blue, and I have one more ball after that. All right, so that's whip number 1. Whip number 2, I do have a lot of progress on. Pardon me as I just bend over. This is the Old Town by Carol Sunday, and I'm knitting this on US 5s out of Blue Moon BFL Sport in the Winter Solstice colorway. And this is still a really cool knit, modular. So this is what I have. This is the wrong side. Here's the right side. And what you're seeing on the needles right now are the sleeves. I'm following the pattern exactly. She says you can knit them in the round, but I'm knitting them flat because my gauge in the round is way tighter than my flat gauge, and I do not want tight sleeves. So let me see if I can show you all a little bit. All right. It's not really try it on as you go, but I can try it on enough to see that it fits. There's one shoulder. Those are those short row shoulders. And there's the other one. And we have this lovely lace. So I'm down to, let me just heft myself up here. So when it's blocked, it's going to be quite amazing. And the back is, that's kind of hiked up. It's a little bit lower than that. But yeah, so I'm onto the sleeves, and like all sleeves, they are never ending, and I don't want to knit them. So I'd rather knit a Zuzu's Petals right now. But I'll get there. So I believe the way this was knit was lace portion, pick up, knit this, come over here, knit some of the back, then go over and knit the shoulder, and then pick up down here, and then come over here, and then do this. It's just a really interesting way to knit a sweater. Highly recommend it. It's been a lot of fun until the sleeves, but you know how that goes with sleeves. So that is my Old Town, and I think my goal this week is to get the sleeves done, if I can. And then it'll just be the rest of the bodice and a little bit of ribbing at the end. So it's nice to get the sleeves done before, so they're not the last thing on the sweater. There was one thing I wanted to say about it. It seems like it goes really fast at first because it's knit in such small increments that even if there is purling, it's like, 20, 30, 40 stitches at the most, rather than like around and around, or I should say, since it's a cardigan, back and forth, and doing these enormous purl rows. So I really do like that. I think there will be some enormous purl rows later, maybe. I'll let you know. So I've been able to go fast on it because I don't have those gigantic purl rows, unlike the whippoorwill. Okay, last last whip. I haven't shown you all this. It's something I pick up maybe once or twice a month. It is my daughter's temperature scarf. Here is her chart. So we have designated a yarn color for a temperature range. Note, use the high temperature of the day. So we started this on her birthday in November. She turned 10 this year. And we want this to be a representation of her 10th year. So here we go. So far it's a lot of greens and blues, but you see in the winter, this is the lowest temperature range. I think she did like 1 to 32 for the high, or 0 to 40 for the high. And now we're up to March. So it's gonna look awesome. I'm trying to carry the yarn when I can, but obviously this is a chunkier yarn. It's Malabrigo chunky. I can't be carrying that. It's too bulky to carry. So I will have some ends to do eventually, but the other yarns I have in here are, let's see, this is a hand-dyed sock yarn. I did yellow. Can you see that? This is an Encore DK. This is a Dream in Color Classy. That was a skein I had left over from my Hallett's Ledge sweater. That's a Happy Forest. And as I said, Malabrigo Chunky and Natural. And we have a variety of other colors coming for the summer months. So I'd like her to knit it a bit more than she does, but we'll see. Okay, so those are my works in progress. And my next thing is spinning. So, remember when I showed you Burketta? Burketta the Finn sheep from Finnegan's Flock in Pennsylvania? She's amazing. I washed some of her. Look at how fluffy and wonderful she is. Can you see some little curly Burketta locks? No lanolin left in this at all. It's so easy to wash. So much easier than those greasy fine fleeces like Rambouillet and Merino and so forth. Take a look. And I washed all of this. Maybe an ounce or two. Excuse me, I haven't weighed it yet. And it is next to the Skin Soft. And I've carded a bit on my hand cards and some on my drum carder. And I sampled, where'd my 3-ply go? There it is. I did some sampling. I can use my foot enough to spin for a little bit of time. So I have 2 samples. The very first one is a 2-ply, and it's really roughly done. As I said, but it's very pretty. This one is a 3-ply. I think I'm gonna go for that as opposed to a 2-ply. Focus. So you can see, you might be able to see the difference in color here. This glare with this white. This one is much whiter. This one has a gray tinge. The reason this one has a gray tinge is because I made my typical spinning mistake. Put a bobbin on, put the Scotch tension on, put the drive band on the whorl that I wanted, and instead of putting my Scotch tension on the little groove in the bobbin, I put it right on the flyer rod, which has oil on it. And I never noticed this, right? And I'm like, why isn't there any take-up? The yarn isn't going in the orifice. It's because of that I didn't put the Scotch tension in the right place. Duh. And another thing that happened was in that whole trying to figure out what was going on, some of the single got wrapped around the flyer rod as well. It broke or something, and it got oil on it. So this gray tinge, this brilliant white, the gray is from the spinning oil, the grease that was on the flyer rod. Oops. But anyway, long story. This is a very good purchase. I'm so happy I bought Burketta's fleece because I was up in the air about it. I had that other fleece that hasn't been behaving well, and I'm so happy I went there. So, excellent. Up and coming. Well, I need something else on the needles. I need some socks, and I think I'm going to cast on these. This is from HD Yarns, and this is on Etsy. Hand-dyed self-striping yarns. And it comes in 2 skeins, and this picture is a representation of what the socks will look like. How awesome is that? I haven't seen a lot of these on podcasts. I did find out about HD Yarns from Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Speaks. She had some of this, and I stalked an update and got some. And last week I looked at the Etsy store, and there was some in there. I don't know if there's any now, but it's brilliantly dyed. It's very soft, and I'm excited. So I believe I will cast these on soon. 2 at a time, probably. So socks, and I have something coming up this week that's going to eat into my knitting time a bit, and that is every spring there is a big consignment sale near my home, and I have timed this in the past few years to be a big part of my Maryland sheep and wool budget. So kids stuff mostly, but household stuff and books, and I'm able to make some cash for Maryland sheep and wool. And with the broken foot, I haven't been able to do this. I have to find everything, sort it, tag it, yada yada yada, get it ready to sell. I just drop it off at the sale and with my information on each item, and I get half of the proceeds of everything that sells. So it's excellent, and I need to spend some time this week getting everything ready if I'm going to have some sheep and wool funds. So yes, that is all really. It's a shorty this week, but as you can hear, I've also been battling a head cold. I'm mostly over it now. So yeah. The lovely winner, Leah, Stitch and Smile, contact me. Let me know what you would like. I won't contact you first, hopefully. You can see the episode and find out for yourself, because that's fun. So yeah, just to recap, I am on iTunes now, Fibretown. If you feel like it, leave me a review or a star rating. I would really appreciate it, because that would bring me up into the Knitting and Fiber podcasts lineup a little bit more so people could find me. Again, you can also see me on YouTube on fibretown.blogspot.com, and check me out on Instagram. And my fitness pal is Chain of Fools. And don't forget the Rav board. We have an April FO thread open now, so come on over. There's one thing in there already, a beautiful shawl from Patricia of Medusel that she crocheted. It just got beads on it. Or is it knit? I think it might be knit. Anyway, go take a look. And yeah, I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.